My wife's brother is male 37, and I'm male 33. I don't call him brother-in-law for reasons. He's a doctor and takes pride in his line of work and treats others as less than. Admittedly, he's civil enough to be around. He's a dad to a teen daughter. He's engaged and was supposed to get married last month, but postponed because he had a fight with his father-in-law. He got involved in our wedding by criticizing the rules we had, from the food, menu, who should and shouldn't attend, according to his prestige, and also started sulking because he wanted his fiancée to be maid of honor, but my wife and I didn't agree. At the day of the wedding, he showed up with his fiancée and daughter in the middle of the ceremony and didn't even sit. He just started going around shaking guests' hands and handing them small cards, which turned out to be his wedding invitations. I was upset, but couldn't interrupt the ceremony, but obviously people were distracted, which was awful. The ceremony was over, and he was still handing out his wedding invitations and talking about how his wedding will look, from the atmosphere to the venue, etc. Basically putting my wedding down in every way he could. I walked straight up to him and asked what he was doing. He looked at me from head to toe and started laughing quietly, saying, "I'm sorry, my God, the suit," while staring at it. I told him going around handing guest invitations was not acceptable. He said, "This wasn't about you. None of it was about you, so don't be offended. Everyone here is family." I told him he was disrespecting my marriage and my wedding, and my guests by doing that. He blew up and listed all the things I didn't consider, like letting his fiancée be the maid of honor, letting his daughter sing with the band or karaoke, and now creating a problem over him handing guest invitations. He then literally asked, "How dare you make today all about you? Do your own Wednesday." I lost it on him and told him to leave immediately. His fiancée and mother-in-law came and tried to get me to drop it, but I told him to leave right then. He was angry and left, then had my in-laws come at me for kicking my wife's brother out in the middle of her wedding and refusing to let him be there and support her. Now I'm expected to make amends and apologize, or I won't be invited to his wedding. Am I the idiot for getting him to leave early and excluding him from the rest of the celebration? I'm sorry, he handed them out mid-ceremony? What kind of delusional world do you have to live in to do that? Not at all, and I wouldn't go to the wedding even if you are invited. I'm partial to letting slip some of the gossipy relatives that he couldn't mail out the invitations. Turns out he's had to make a lot of financial cutbacks lately. He arrived mid-ceremony too. He sure as heck wasn't there to support his sister. If he cared even a little, he would have been there at the very beginning. Not the idiot. I wouldn't apologize. He sounds like a total idiot. Are you really bothered about not being invited to his wedding? Petty me would wedding crash and hand out invitations to some other event and throw every word of what he said back in his face. Not the idiot, but announce your wife is pregnant at his wedding. Even if she's not, announce it anyway. Make sure to breeze on in there and announce it during the ceremony. Hey, good news, we're pregnant. Not the idiot. It was your wedding. Your in-laws are appalling to their daughter's wedding. It was your day and her day, and he made it about him, and they sided with him? Screw him and screw your in-laws. Go low contact. What did your wife have to say when all of this nonsense was going on? Why didn't she handle her brother at the reception? You gave precious little info about that, and I'm curious. It might have gone better if his sister addressed him and not you. I don't know, just asking. She doesn't approve of his behavior, but tries to keep the peace, especially since he's handling the family's financials and helping pay my in-laws' medical bills. I'm not bothered about not being invited to his wedding, but my wife is pressuring me to do the right thing. I just feel like at some point, I might have to do what they want to end the drama, since he's refusing to admit that what he did was wrong, and my in-laws think I overreacted. My dad married my stepmom, Rebecca, 5 years ago. My mom had died 4 years before that, and Rebecca moved to be with him. They have 2 kids together now, and about a year ago, Rebecca said that she wanted to be closer to her family. My dad decided the whole family should move so Rebecca could be close to her family. I said I didn't want to be away from my family. My family is my mom's extended family and my dad's. Dad told me there was no way he was leaving me behind, and I would be close to family, just a different family. I spoke to different family members, and my mom's family decided to petition the court for me to stay with them. The judge agreed that it could be up to me to move out or not, and my grandparents could be my custodial guardians if I wanted to stay close and finish high school, etc. I chose to stay with both extended family support. My dad cut off his parents over the whole thing, and 6 months post-move, he is still bitter at the choice I made. Every time we speak, we fight, and he tells me there is so much waiting for me over there. Rebecca is upset I didn't move and allow them and her family to be enough. She said if she could leave her whole family, why couldn't I move to be with newer members of the family? I didn't know all that much. I told her that's precisely why. I want the people I love and know around me, and her family is not those people. My dad has apparently been regretful for how things went, but still mad at me for my choice. He told me I made a decision that has hurt many people, and it means my siblings will grow up without me. I told him this was best for me, just like what was best for Rebecca was being around her family. He told me I made him make an impossible decision and called me selfish. I asked why was it selfish for me to want my family, but not for Rebecca. He told me it's different and I know it, and my birthday is coming up soon, and he won't get to see me, etc. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your dad made a decision to support his wife's needs that affected a lot of people and doubled down when he knew it negatively affected you. I hate when parents push their love for new step-parents onto their kids. Dad chose to remarry, not you. Dad chose to move on, not you. His choices, not yours. You lost your mom. I'm so sorry for that. You've already been through a lot. You don't need to lose all your friends and family right now, too. Yeah, hard not the idiot, OP. Rebecca needed the support system of her family, but I cannot fathom how your dad cannot comprehend why you need the same. Your mom passed away, and he got remarried in your formative years. It is far from wrong to want some stability and to be close to your wider family. Also, a big middle finger to Rebecca for asking why her family couldn't be enough for you and comparing that she moved to be with your dad when she decided that your family wasn't enough for her. Right? What is Rebecca even talking about when she says OP should be able to leave her family? If Rebecca could, she couldn't leave her whole family. This whole move is because she couldn't stand to be away from them. Of anyone in the world, Rebecca should understand why it is important for OP to stay close to her people of anyone in the world. They're total hypocrites. OP made the right call. I don't think I've done something wrong here, but since most of my relatives call me the idiot, I might as well take some further judgment to see if I'm doing something that I haven't realized yet. I'm engaged to a wonderful woman. We are both 25 years old. I've been with her since we were 18. It's been 7 years and finally, we're financially ready to move to our first house. Before we decided to live together in our place, she stayed over at my house for the past 2 years of the global issue. We decided it would be best to save money for our future house instead of spending it on rent. Her parents also live in another state, so they're far away, she couldn't stay with them. We got engaged a bit before COVID hit and have been living in my house since. My brother sometimes lives in this house, but he's also got his own place. The house we're living in is my parents'. My brother is a very inappropriate person who never knows where to stop with his jokes. He's implied he's a better fit for my fiancée as a joke. He's flirted with her multiple times and she's visibly uncomfortable. And when I defend my fiancée and tell my brother to leave her alone, he makes fun of me being afraid he'll steal my girl. And my mother always justifies him and says he's just joking and I'm overreacting. Last week, my mom fought with my brother. My brother owes money to my mom, and she said she wanted the money back. She needed it. My brother then insulted my fiancé out of nowhere, telling my mom, "If you need the money so much, go get it from that witch your other son bangs who stays rent-free in our house for the past 2 years, and she hasn't put a penny in it." I overheard him saying that, and we got in a huge fight. For the record, my fiancé helps a lot with the house, both in housework, but financially too. But due to the fact her paycheck is lower than mine, she gives less money than I do because she can't afford to give more, but she still helps. So my brother's claim is baseless. After some back and forth insults with my brother, he left, and I told my mom he's not allowed to step foot in my new house. Thankfully, my fiance was at work during that fight, so she didn't hear a thing. But I told my mom that him making my fiance uncomfortable for 2 years straight was bad enough, but him calling her names is the last straw, and he won't be allowed anywhere near her ever again. My mom, dad, and many of my aunts and uncles and cousins found out about this and claim I'm the idiot and ungrateful for daring to ban my brother from my house, and how I should be ashamed to say that. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. First of all, you don't have to explain your girlfriend's finances at all, and I would put a stop to that the second he brings it up. Second, your brother took money from your mom, so he owes it. Nothing else going on in her life matters. It doesn't matter if she lets a million girls stay in her house for free. He owes your mom money, and he's deflecting responsibility. Your mom, she's an enabler who seems like she's nurtured this behavior. Even if he's the nicest guy in the world, you're allowed to have boundaries. You can refuse to let anyone in your home for any reason. Not only is he nasty to your girlfriend, but he's also a misogynist, nasty to your mom, a bad brother, and manipulative. People like that only wreak havoc on your life. Everyone's the idiot here, except your fiance. Flirting with her when she not only felt uncomfortable, but she was also his brother's fiance, was already bad, but calling her names just because she didn't give in, probably why he called her that, and diminishing the help she has offered to the house, both financially and physically, when he owed money to his own mother, makes him one of the types of people I'd never wish to meet. Not the idiot. There is no way you can be. First off, it's your house, so your rules. If you don't want someone coming over, then they don't. You don't need a reason. The fact that your reason is that your brother makes your fiance uncomfortable and is a complete tool is a fantastic reason to cut them off. Your fiance deserves to feel comfortable in her home, and no one deserves to be degraded. Since we've been dating, my husband has been a very consistent gift giver. However, I've always suspected that my husband doesn't always pick the gifts himself, because sometimes they seem really thoughtful and personal to me, and other times they seem like generic presents you could give to anyone. I usually don't say anything, because on special occasions he always gives me a meaningful present, until this year. This year, my husband has only given me generic gifts, and I'm sure he's having his assistant buy them. I asked him once, and he denied it. Our anniversary was a few days ago, and he gave me a necklace. It was beautiful, but I rarely wear jewelry, which he knows. When I opened it, I told him I loved the red color. The necklace was blue. He told me he thought the red would suit me the best. I played along for a little while, and then showed him the blue necklace. We had a huge fight over it, and I told him I didn't want it and he should stop giving me gifts for the sake of saying he gave me a gift. He said I was overreacting and forgetting the color was an honest mistake, but it didn't mean he never bought it himself. He's also mad at me now for trying to test him and for rejecting his gift. I tested my husband to see if he bought my gift himself and then rejected it after he failed. I may be the idiot as rejecting the gift after he's already given it to me seems ungrateful, especially since it was for our anniversary and my test wasn't exactly foolproof. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He can't even look at the gifts he gets for you. Why bother then? He might as well just give you cash so you can at least get something you like. OP, I don't know if your husband has always been like this to a degree or whatever, but I strongly encourage you to sit and talk it out. If he refuses, then tell him to never buy you anything again, and you will do the same for him. Heck, even a store-bought card would be more thoughtful. He would at least have to open it to sign it. There's dishonesty on both sides, but I'm going to say not the idiot. In this situation, it's the thought that counts. And the thought here was, I want to keep my wife happy without the slightest emotional investment in the gift. He didn't even know what the gift was. The reason he's upset is he got caught. So it's time for an apology to each other for being dishonest and an agreement on what gifts are truly valuable. And I'm going to bet there's more to talk about in this relationship too. Everyone's the idiot. Your husband needs to step up and stop sending his assistant to shop for gifts, or at least give the assistant specific information about what you like and review the gift before purchase. But getting into testing your partner is bad practice. Playing the gotcha game with your partner is not going to end well, ever. How is testing your partner a bad practice in that situation? What is the alternative? Sure, testing your partner on stupid crap with no valid reason is bad, but here she had legitimate doubt and wanted confirmation. The husband would never admit that he didn't buy the gift himself. Trust is everything in a relationship, and doubt is worse than anything, because once you doubt on one aspect of a relationship, it is really easy to doubt everything after that. At least now she knows, and they can work it out and solve the issue. I never loved my daughter. Not really. I always hated the idea of children, so my wife and I, but mostly me, were super careful. One way or the other, though, she got pregnant. I know it happens sometimes, but my wife didn't want to get rid of the baby. We talked about it for a bit, but eventually, we agreed to keep the baby because I didn't want to make her feel like she had to do something she didn't want to do, especially with her child. So boom, baby. Except after she had the baby, it didn't seem like she was taking care of her as much as she should have. Sometimes I would come home from work and the baby would be alone, with my wife nowhere to be seen. I didn't want the baby to live a life of being neglected and have us never give her a chance for a good childhood, so I tried to take care of the baby when I could. But admittedly, I was terrible at it. I didn't know how to take care of a baby, which I should have begun researching when it was confirmed that we were having the baby. I was also never really mentally prepared to take care for a baby, as I never wanted one and really despised children and taking care of them. But regardless, I still tried to take care of her when my wife wasn't around, which was a lot of the time. Fast forward some years, my daughter is now a teen. I have taken care of this child, put her into school, spent money that I worked on for this kid I never wanted for many years now, and my wife still seems to be absent for the child. One evening we were eating dinner, and my wife was talking about how good of a baby she raised. I snapped at her and told her that she had never raised this baby and that she was selfish for pushing her choice on me. Everything got quiet after that, and we sort of all left. I knew that she was never present for our daughter, and I guess everything from the past years just boiled over. But mostly I feel bad about saying it in front of my daughter. I don't want her to feel responsible or blame herself for my and my wife's relationship. I want her to live a good life, and I don't want our conflict to ruin that for her. So, am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here, and you are the idiot just for the weird, detached way you talk about your child and how you resent her. Yikes! The two of you should have put her up for adoption and at least given her a small chance of being loved. Also, what you said about your daughter being your wife's choice, that she pushed on you, is absolutely horrendous. I can't believe you said that in front of your daughter. I hope you've got money for therapy for your poor kid. Of course, she didn't ask for any of this. You all suck, except the child. For real, you can't say that to someone who's becoming a young adult because it's just going to get ingrained in their personality. It likely already is, since I bet anything that resentment that OP has for his kid has bled through with every interaction they've had. OP, you should have left when you found out she was pregnant. If you didn't want kids, don't stay with someone who does, because you're just going to raise someone who doesn't feel wanted. Congratulations, that's what you did. You are the idiot. If you truly didn't want kids, you should have had a vasectomy or ensured other permanent effective birth control was in place. Not have a baby, stew about it for years, and then throw it in your wife and innocent daughter's face 15 years later? Regardless of your wife's parenting skills, when you jointly decided to keep and raise a child, you signed up to help parent that child. See a therapist before you make your daughter feel even more unwanted and unwelcome.